Hi, thank you for visiting Varian. My name is Vari, and if this is your first time being here, then a sub and a like to the channel would be greatly appreciated. I also want to say thanks for those people out there that's been donating through Saweria and also my YouTube members. Thank you very much. Let's talk about OCTOPATH TRAVELER, specifically the one on Nintendo Switch. So there's already the second one, OCTOPATH TRAVELER 2, out now. And they're both even on Xbox Game Pass if you want to try them out. And I kind of want to recommend you to do so, but you might want to check out the video first. So my first impression, first time I played OCTOPATH TRAVELER, as a content creator, as a gamer that's been playing a lot of retro games, I thought this is just about the same with other games that I've played throughout my childhood. I live in the 90s, 2000s, early 2000s. A lot of games are like this. Is this supposed to save the style? Is it supposed to be a differentiate from the triple A's out there right now, mostly for JRPGs, the 3D detailed graphics that people might be already tired of at the time, or they're not quite meeting the expectations of this retro or old people, veteran JRPG players may need to fulfill. So I started playing it, and there's several characters that you could choose. There's 8 of them. It's Octopath, 8 characters, and each one have their own unique stories. This is not a spoiler, don't worry about it, though it is an old game. When you finish the game, using the first character that you choose, it's going to complete or just wrap up the game. So in order to have a much more fulfilling ending, you might want to finish all the stories first before your main character, the character that you pick in the very beginning. It doesn't really matter which one you choose, because in the end you'll be able to play all of their stories anyway. But that's another thing, the story and the relationships between characters, they feel sort of disconnected, but not really at the same time. What saves this connection itself is because when you're going on your adventure, when you're going through the story of one of the people in your party, you'll be able to listen or to read their banters, their chat about each other. They're trying to understand the other people's suffering or opinions because they're sort of very different with one another. And that is very interesting to me. And also, I forget to mention this, but it is so good that a game right now, well, at least in 2024, not when the game released. The game released in 2017, I think, 2018. They already include full, complete voice acting, voiceover for the NPCs, for the main characters in English or even in Japanese. That makes the game itself feels more alive, especially because they're using pixel art 2D graphics, 2D HD, the way they said it, I think. And that inspires a lot of games nowadays to be using this type of style, because it might be easier for developers to produce this type of graphic art, but the game itself, the mechanism, the way you play the game, the detail, the depth of the game itself, you could explore much more, because you don't need to have your energy drained as developers to focus on the high fidelity graphics, AAA graphics, stuff like that. And the graphic itself, though it may be 2D HD, though it may be pixel art, it is beautiful. As you can see, if you never tried this before, you can feel the depth, you can feel the 3D animations within the world. You're exploring different part of the world. The map itself, it's huge, it's large, but it is not very demanding. You don't really need to conquer the whole land. And there's also fast travel features later on in the game. But what's more important, every corner, every part of the world, it feels like you'll be able to remember. You see, you'll know you're in a certain streets, you're in a certain woods when you explore it, because it is just so unique, and at the same time it's not really heavy or burdening to your eyes, to your brain to memorize the scene itself. And the cutscene also, well, I kind of really want to have like some animations of some sort, but because the whole game throughout is using this pixel art, so I guess it doesn't really matter as long as the story is powerful. There's politics involved, there's family issues, there's also searching of true identity of self, searching through knowledge and experience, and you know, finding your true self kind of stuff, kind of an adventure. Also, the gameplay mechanics is just a JRPG. It's just a turn-based perfection to me, at least. And I'm a Square Enix fanboy, so this might be biased. Also, you know, Square Enix usually do stuff like shield break, like you need to find out the weaknesses of the enemy first, and then after you figure it out, after it's being revealed, then you use the weapon type to defeat the monster's shield first, and then they will turn vulnerable, and it'll be easier to do critical on them, or for them to receive more damage that way. The bosses are very challenging, but it's doable, and you don't have to, you know, make your whole party like ultra strong or something. You'll only be using 4% in your party, and the person in your party has to be there to continue the story progress that they're on. Like if you're going to a certain city and then there's a story for this person, like say Alwyn, the guy with the blonde hair there, then you gotta have Alwyn in your party, something like that. But I got carried through with only 4% in the party that I think suitable to each other very much. So within this 4, if I'm doing a story for someone else outside of the party, I'm just going to change one, and then it helps me carry throughout the game with no problem. There's no difficulty settings, so if it's difficult, then it is just the standard of this type of games, and you'll be able to do it unless you're doing the post game bosses, because it has to be hard. It's a challenge mode type of thing. So why was this an important game for Nintendo Switch? Okay, I'm sorry about the ranting, well, it's not really ranting, the gushing that I just did, but it was very important to Nintendo Switch at a time because there's only, I think, 7 games out there, and one of them is OCTOPATH Traveler. It's the perfect game for Nintendo Switch because at the time there's not so many handhelds that would be able to play such great games like these. So at the time it's very you know, reachable to the audience of Nintendo Switch. It's very easy to understand this game, but it's also detailed or in-depth at the same time, and it brings back the retro style RPG, the graphic that people might, well I'm not sure in your country, but at least in mine, people will mock or make fun of some ignorance out there will mock this type of graphic, the pixel art graphic. They just don't appreciate, and we cannot force our opinions upon other people because maybe they just don't feel the same way as we do. But in the end, the gameplay is great. It's the first it's the best game also to introduce to a new or beginner in JRPG. So I want to recommend this game so bad, especially if you got a kid or if you got a teenager that you try to influence to get into your taste in RPGs, or you just want your friend or someone that you know to play a good game that they could chill while playing this game, because it's not really that difficult when you when you already got into it, when you already understand the essence or the elements of the game. Well, is there any downside of the game? I mean, I'm going to compare a little bit to the OCTOPATH Traveler 2, which I probably want to recommend you more, because I tried OCTOPATH Traveler 2, I tried the demo one, but I kind of want you also to experience this one, because if you already did played the Octopath Traveler 2, you're probably not wanting to go back to the first one because it is less features. It's going to be disconnected within the party itself, like from each other, aside of the banter thing that they're doing. They're trying to understand each other's background, stuff like that. But the downside is probably, if you're a veteran RPG players, if you play a lot of game out there, you might going to judge this game every step of the way. That's probably it. It's still a good game. Would I recommend this game? Yes, very much. I would definitely recommend this game to a lot of people if they're asking, what should I play if I'm just getting into JRPG scenes? And if the person don't have any problem with playing with pixel art graphics, then I would definitely recommend it. Because sometimes when you are playing a huge game, like huge RPG games with high fidelity AAA graphics, sometimes it tires you out a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe we're just some old people that's trying to pack a little bit of our time that we have to play games, and apparently it tires us out. It exhausted us because we got life to play on as well. Anyway, that's about it. That's Octopath Traveler for you. What do you think about this game? Have you played it? Have you tried it? If you have, write it down in the comment down below. Maybe I missed out something of what's great, of what's bad about the game. Maybe you have different opinions, you have some disagreements. Go on and ahead. I'd like to have a discussion going every time. And I'd like to thank you once again for visiting Florian. Thank you, and until next time.